Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start today a four-part series, and this series is is really the cornerstone of the beginning of the end of my failed 7 years at trading. Okay, this was really the first, well, I don't know, I can't really say it's a first aha I had, but this was the thunderbolt. This was the one that was the 2x4 to the side of the head, where I suddenly realized I've been approaching this thing all wrong all this time. So what I did was, when I was, and you guys, many of you have heard this story before, many of you haven't. We have a lot of new Einsteins that have joined us recently, so I think many of you may not be familiar with my story, that I was, for 7 years, I was a pathetically failed trader. Uh, I tried everything that most other traders have tried. I felt like I was the only idiot out there that couldn't figure the thing out. But the hardest part for me was that I had always been very successful at everything else I had done in life, or at least as it relates to business. If I put my mind to it and I worked hard at it, I always found some level of success. And that wasn't the case with trading. I felt like the only level of success I had came in these little short spurts. There was nothing that I could ever say was consistent. At no time did I ever feel like, okay, I got this. I hadn't gained any real traction. I might have a few days or weeks where I was winning more than I was losing, but I never felt any kind of confidence that I was doing the right things. Okay, so I was constantly trying to learn how to trade. So I failed miserably at this for so many years. I was about to give up, and during a time of introspection that I had, trying to decide whether I was going to quit trading once and for all, or give it another go. I had actually decided I was going to quit. But I started asking myself some legitimate questions that, for whatever reason that day, they seemed to come at me very easily, where prior to this it just never occurred to me. So just before I quit, I said, why is it? By the way, I was a remodeling contractor, construction contractor, for over 20 years, and I also had some hot tub stores that kind of we opened the hot tub stores to kind of enhance the remodeling business, because we sold a lot of hot tubs. And both of those businesses were very successful. And I started asking myself, well, why can I be so successful at business and so polar opposite with trading? What's the difference here? And so I started answering that question, and that's where the thunderbolt hit. Okay, the answer to that question was where things started changing for me. Okay, so we're gonna press on. So a lot of us, never really consider trading or to start trading as a business, because we always feel like, I don't really know how to trade yet. So the first thing you need to do is learn how to this thing that you want to do for your profession, for your regular income. So first you have to learn how to do it before you can do it, right? seems reasonable, seems logical, right? This is the path I was going down. I said, one day I'm going to learn this, and after I learn it, I'm going to then start trading for. A lot of us really don't think it's necessary. Why in the world would I start a trading business? I just want to learn how to trade, and once I learn, then I'll know it, and I'll just make as much money as I want and work whenever I want. The whole idea of running a business may not have ever occurred to you, or you've never run a business. So why would you start a business doing something you don't even know how to do? Many of us that are not that have not been small business owners and have no intentions of being small business owners feel like that, that's for other people. I'm not a business. I don't want to run a small business. Or maybe I just never have, or I never had the urge to take that leap. I need more security. So running a business maybe has never even actually occurred to you, or maybe it has, but you decided, I got a full-time job. I've got the commute time. I've got kids. I've got family commitments. I've got absolutely zero time to start a business while I'm trying to learn this trading thing on top of it all. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Maybe the insecurity, like I said, being very insecure about, giving up a sure thing. If you have a job or a career, you don't want to give up a sure thing to speculate on running a small business. The most small businesses will fail over time. And usually in a very short period of time. Most small businesses do not make it past the 5-year mark. So why would you want to do that? I mean, that's a big risk. Give up something that is, your full-time job with the benefits that come along with having a full-time job, and let somebody else worry about staying in business. You just get to go and just do your job. But more than likely, it never even occurred to you to start trading as a business because you don't know how, or you haven't seen any success. So how in the world could you ever think that running a trading business would be a good idea? Well, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, nobody is more dedicated to success than a small business owner. Nobody. Small business owners have made a commitment. They're all in, right? They've made the decision to go forward, and they've made all kinds of investments in money and time. Their success is never in somebody else's hands, and they'll do what must be done no matter what. Okay, and I've told this story many times, but I think it illustrates the point pretty well. In my construction business, I was a very hands-on type of owner as it related to the products that we built for our customers. And so I would spend a lot of my days actually building things because I wanted to make sure my customer was happy and that things got done right. So I was there on the job site every single day. And if I had multiple job sites, I was on all of them at some point throughout the day. I would wear a tool belt and work and build things, and then at 5 o'clock, everybody else got to go home. All my employees got to go home. I got to go home to go take a shower, to go then get in the truck, to go back out and meet with customers and meet with prospective clients, and and do the things that need to be done to make this business successful, because I had responsibilities. I have responsibilities to my family. I have responsibilities to my customers and their families. I have responsibilities to my employees and my employees' families, and just on and on and on. And if I didn't dedicate myself to the success of the business, that was going to cause a lot of problems down the line. Okay, so I was so dedicated. I make a joke about this, but it's not far from true, is that I would come flying down the driveway in a hurry after a long, hard day at work. I would jump in the shower because I have to now go out and meet with people. My wife would basically feed me dinner in the shower so that I could jump out, get cleaned up, get back in the truck, go out and do estimates all night long, come back at 9 or 10 at night, sit at my desk until midnight, doing either the quotes or the designs or getting ready for the next day, just doing those things that dedicated small business owners do to make sure they're successful. Okay? So nobody is more dedicated. That's very important. Okay? The focus of your daily activity shifts to the business, not on the money. Okay? So what I mean by that is you're looking to create a successful business. Everything you do is so that your business can succeed. You already know that if you do the things that to create a successful business, money's just going to follow. You don't have to spend every minute of every day thinking about money while you're doing your job. Just do a good job, the money will follow. Okay? A big epiphany for me when I started asking myself, why can I spend so much or be so successful in my construction business, and yet in my trading I just cannot get any traction? And the answer was because I don't think about trading the way I think about my construction business. I was consumed with money. Everything I did from the time I got up until the time I finally quit trading was about money as it related to trading. But I noticed in my business, not so much. I was focusing in business on what crew's going where, and what materials need to be there, and when I have to meet with customers, and what I'm going to do about this, and what I'm going to do about, and all these other things that go with running a business. None of it was about money. It was about building a successful business. Okay? We'll talk more about money as we go. In business, there's a division of labor, right? So I had me as the boss. I had, sitting in the office next to me was my bookkeeper. She was secretary. She was office manager. She did everything. I had 3 crew leaders that ran the crews. I had, of course, then many different employees that were under the crew leaders. Each one had their own set of responsibilities on what they did, whether they were a laborer that just carried wood around, or whether they were a trim carpenter that just, went and trimmed out these rooms that we did, or whatever. Everybody had their division of labor. Everybody had their thing that they were responsible for, and that's where their focus was. If you're doing your bookkeeping and accounting while you're trading, you're not likely to be very good at your job, lead trader of your company. The job of the lead trader, which is just one job that you have, and we're going to talk more later, your job is to execute the trade plan, period. There is no other job for you as the lead trader of your company. Managing risk is not your job. That happens at some other time when you're editing or building or revising your trade plan. Okay? You can think of trade plan as a job description in this circumstance. So a division of labor isn't happening as you're approaching trading now, but it needs to. Planning and record keeping, very important, not just in running a business, but in trading. Okay? You cannot, if you're trading without a plan and you're not doing trade analysis, you need to stop trading. Just stop. Don't even bother until you've developed a working trading plan and you're keeping very good records or your trade analysis for your trading business. All right. Many of us don't necessarily have all of the qualities that we feel like we might need to be small business owners. Okay? Here's the thing about starting your own business, whether it's a trading business or any other kind. Because of the things that are necessary that you do throughout a business day, you begin to earn special qualities. Okay? That's an important term. Earn. Why is it earned? Because I can't give it to you. I can't teach it to you. You're going to do it every single day, and you're going to earn by working at being devoted, sacrificing, becoming more dedicated, becoming more determined, becoming more driven, becoming more patient, dealing with obstacles, planning. You're going to earn these qualities that may have at this point in time, or have enough of at this point in time. But if you start thinking of your trading not as something you're trying to learn how to do, but as something that you must do, and you're going to approach it like a business, you're going to start seeing a huge difference in your trading. Huge. All right, so coming up, we've got more. Today is part one. This is a 4-part series. So we're going to talk about getting started. We're going to talk about day-to-day business operations. We're going to talk about accountability and company policies and job descriptions and record keeping and planning. We have all of that coming up on starting and running your own trading business. Okay? Alex says, what did your trading look like prior to this? You have a trade plan with setups. Was it the follow through with practice and everything else that changed? Being that this was the very kind of beginning of the whole transformation, I can tell you I had probably a dozen trading plans and with setups. They were all horrible. I did what everybody else does, and I Googled trading plan, and I read a bunch of other people's trading plans, and I tried to kind of copy them, maybe fill in the blanks, change a few things here and there. So I took the shortcut because I didn't really know what a trading plan was. So I wrote it out. I go, okay, now I have a plan. Over my desk, kind of over my monitors, was a shelf. And that's where the plan went. And that's where the plan collected dust. because I didn't really understand what I was supposed to do with that. I wrote it down, put it on the shelf, and then everything else kind of went back to the way it was. Okay? The whole practice thing was not part of my, at that point, practicing. I didn't have the first clue what to practice or how to practice. That epiphany came to me when I found NinjaTrader. When I was struggling, I was using TradeStation, and TradeStation does not have the tools, nor is it the quality platform that NinjaTrader is. And I didn't know it. I started with TradeStation, so I got comfortable with it, and I wasn't really eager to change because of my level of comfort with TradeStation. But then I saw the replay utility inside of NinjaTrader, and that started the wheels turning. That started the whole practicing thing. So it was a snowball effect. But the very first part of this snowball effect was understanding that I've got to quit thinking like somebody who's just trying to learn something. Instead, approach this thing as somebody who has to make this work. And in part 4 of this series, I think it's in part 4, I'm going to give you the most simple plan that you could ever come up with that's going to, if you haven't already heard it, it's going to be an epiphany for you on how to transition from somebody who's still trying to learn this whole trading thing into somebody who's actually got a plan on how to transition from being a struggling trader to somebody who's actually generating a regular income and can eventually quit their jobs or their professions or cut back or do whatever and do this full time. You've got to have a plan for that. It's not going to just happen one day that you go, hey, you know what? I think I'm making some pretty good money here at trading. I'm going to quit my job now and all the security that goes with it. Doesn't happen. Never will. Yeah, the replay function is underrated by traders and developers at NT. You're absolutely right. But it's a huge shift, paradigm shift in how you approach trading and relative to how you approach everything else that you ever get good at. We're going to certainly talk more about that. All right, well, that's it. Look forward to part 2 next week. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you soon.